You could have chosen anyone's voice to be in your ears. You could have. And yet you chose mine, and you continue to choose mine over and over again. And I don't take that lightly. I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for every share. Every time you listen to an episode and you share it. I'm so grateful every time you listen to an episode and you watch it again, because you're like, oh, there was something, I want to hear that again. I'm so grateful for you leaving comments and reviews, like reviewing the podcast. I'm so grateful, because that expands, that allows my voice to reach more people. Welcome back to another episode of the Charyse Williams Show. And this is not just another episode. This is episode 100. Oh my goodness. Can we just celebrate episode 100? That is so exciting for me. Literally 100 episodes ago, this podcast did not exist. There was no audience. There was no nothing. There was no blueprint. There was nothing. Just a mic, a message, and a mission that wouldn't let me stay quiet. And now here we are, 100 episodes in. I am excited. Hundreds of clients served, thousands of businesses created, launched, and scaled. Oh my goodness. And a whole new embodied identity. That's for sure. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be a list, or it's not going to be a lesson per se. There's going to be some lessons, but it's not going to be in our typical format that you're probably have become used to knowing. It's a love letter to the people who helped shape this journey. It's to the ones who believed before there was actual proof. To the ones who challenged me, who stretched me, who trusted me, who triggered me, and walked with me through this entire journey. These are voice notes from my heart to my first client, to my mentors, to my husband, to the team members who've held it down and really have been, the backbone of my entire business, not just this podcast, to the version of me who kept going in spite of, I'll unpack some of that in just a bit, to God who guided it all, and to you, my listener, the one who shows up every single week. There will be some subtle lessons and aha moments and realizations for you as I'm kind of sharing these love notes, or these voice notes, if you will, that I hope and I trust that will support you on your journey. So welcome to episode 100. I can't even believe it when I say it. I'm like, have we done 100 episodes? So welcome to episode 100. So let's go back. So I can show you how far we have truly come together. So the first voice note, if I were to leave a voice note for these people, and many of these I have shared with them personally, but you guys get the benefit of coming along for the ride for this. So first, and these are not in any particular order, just some voice notes that I feel like I want to share from the heart. So first voice note is to my very first client, my very first holistic health client, paid holistic health client. Because here's the thing, I had some holistic health clients before. I just never charged. I never had the courage to charge. I wasn't sure what to charge. So for me to even put a price on it and to put it out there was a huge step. So many of you are there right now. You're in that space. And so this voice note is to her, and I'm not going to mention her by name because just for confidentiality. But this is to you. This is to the first client that I had the courage to share what my pricing was. So you said yes. You said yes, even when I didn't even know really how to put my packages together or really articulate all the things that I knew in my heart I could help you with. I know in my mind I could help you with, but I really wasn't sure or confident how to articulate it all. But you said yes. You trusted me when I was still finding my footing. You reminded me that I was already a healer before I even had a brand per se. So for that, I thank you, because you were the seed. You were the confirmation. Your yes gave birth to a legacy. Your yes gave birth to a legacy. So I thank you for trusting me with your health on your health journey. I thank you for saying yes. I thank you for, again, being that confirmation that I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. And I knew what I was doing. But until someone says yes, you got to sometimes still have that doubt. So thank you. And thank you for the way that you showed up for yourself, and us working together and helping and providing your body with what it needed to heal itself. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So the next voice note is to my very first client, who many would consider was a high ticket client. This is once I decided to increase my rates. And the reason, and that part's not so much the important part. The important part is that she, Miss Dorothy, is the prototype. She is my absolute dream client. You will work with lots of people and you will impact lots of lives. And there will be some people they're like soul connections, and there's something about them, right? And for me, that is Miss Dorothy. And I'm going to try to get through this without crying because she just recently passed away. We worked together back in 2020 when I first launched, or 20, probably it was 2021 when I launched my holistic health coaching business. But again, at this point, I had really stepped into, I had a few other clients before her, and I really stepped into like a structure, and my confidence was there, and I chose to increase my pricing because it really honored it honored me and my expertise and all that I brought to the table, and the transformation that I knew that I was able to help provide for people. And that takes courage. And I did it. And like I said, she's the first one who said yes after I kind of had come to that point in my journey, in my business, and my confidence and my skill set. I mean, the skill set was always there, but she said yes. And the reason why I specifically want to voice a voice note to her in honor of her is because, again, she's the prototype, you guys. When I look at working with clients, I'm looking for my dream clients, like Miss Dorothy. It was an easy yes. We spoke for a bit, and I quoted her my fee, and which was, high 5 figures, and she said yes. And it wasn't about overcoming objections, any of that. She said yes. She was all in on her health, and she was all in on me being able to be the guide for her. And when I tell you you showed up, let me just say that I'm going to speak to her. So, Miss Dorothy, you have been an absolute joy and pleasure to work with. You literally set the bar for how I want to work with my clients. We had so much fun. I didn't know that I was allowed to have so much fun with my clients. And it wasn't like there was a line blurred between like, okay, I'm your holistic health coach, you're my patient or my client. It was just we had just a beautiful connection. And you have such a beautiful soul, such a beautiful heart. You showed me what a dream client looks like. Again, you are the prototype. You showed up for yourself. Every single week, every single day when we weren't together, but every single week when we did meet, you showed up for yourself. We laughed. We had so much fun on our calls together. You helped me think outside the box. I think you even blew your mind. You thought outside the box when we introduced the hula hoop into your daily routine, because we were looking for creative ways to move your body, and we laughed so much about a hula hoop because it's not something that you would typically think of, and neither one of us were thinking along those lines. So I remember you said, when I was a kid, I used to, because I asked you, what do you love to do to move your body, and you had to think about that for a second, and then you started laughing, and then you thought about, you mentioned how when you were a kid you used to love to hula hoop. And I told you, I said, okay, well, your assignment is to go to, Academy or Walmart or whatever and grab yourself a hula hoop. And you're going to do 30 minutes on, with your hula hoop every single day. And you did it, and you had fun. And it was just so beautiful to witness. Again, it was beautiful to witness your level of commitment to yourself. I shared this with you, and you even allowed me to point this out in the book when I was writing the book. But I'm so proud of you because, again, you were all in on your health. You never really questioned any of the protocols that I set before you. And you got your A1C, or I'll say we, because it was a collective effort, but you did all the work because you had to do the day-to-day stuff. You got your A1C, your hemoglobin A1C down from 9 to 5.4. That is impressive, incredible. amazing. And I talk about you all the time to this very day, because what you may not know is that your diligence and commitment to your health and reversing your diabetes and your hypertension gives other people hope. And your legacy lives on, because I always mention Miss Dorothy, and I always mention how your A1C went from 9 to 5.4. So because of your commitment to your health, so you've painted the picture of what's possible when people really are committed. So thank you, Miss Dorothy. May you rest in peace. Okay, to my mentor, one of my mentors. I've had many mentors, you guys. I will tell you, one of the reasons why I have been, as successful as I've been through my business journey with my holistic health coaching business, as well as my business coaching business, is because I didn't try to do it alone. I didn't try to figure it all out alone. I sought out support from people who have been there, done that, and who can help me do the same, and they help me, navigate, not have to go through all the ups and downs. Now, there's going to be ups and downs always, but that guided me along my path, right? And so there have been many over the last. I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years, so there've been many, but I'm going to really speak to two of them. And the first one is my mentor, who I want to just say she cracked me wide open. Charyse Lit, Charyse Lit, and to Charyse. Oh my gosh, I love Charyse so much. You didn't coddle me. You called me. You saw me for who I am and was, truly at my core. You called me up. You called me out and called me up to really fully step into the vision that I had. You reflected back to me the woman that I was afraid to claim. You helped me see that many of the things that I was doing was self-betrayal. And I will never forget that moment when we were together at Caliber. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I'm so grateful for you, for that experience, for you witnessing me, and for knowing that there was more that I wasn't saying. There was more to what I wasn't saying much, but you pulled it out of me with patience and with grace and with love, for my benefit, and I want to thank you for the work that your body of work, because in me witnessing your body of work, it gave me permission to really fully step into my voice in my body of work, really unapologetically. And I say that because in 2020, you may not know this, but in 2020, when I first launched my holistic health coaching business, I knew mindset was a huge part of it. It had to be mind, body, soul, but not in really shifting your identity. But it seemed so foreign for me to be teaching those type of concepts, because I didn't see anyone else out there. And typically I've never really been the person that needed the proof. I'm okay with being the proof. But in that season, I was like, no one's really, I don't know. Although I knew this was something that I need to be teaching. And so I kind of pull back a little bit. And then I found you, and that is your whole body of work, identity work, neuroidentity evolution. And that gave me the permission and the green light, if you will, to say, no, you were on the right track 3 years ago, 3 years prior. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. You show me that embodiment is louder than any certification or education. And for that, I truly thank you. So thank you for you refusing to play small in your mission, because it gave me the permission to really take up space and to be fully expressed in the way that I know that I should be, or would be, or could be, or am. How about that? All right. So that's what Charyse. My next mentor, you guys have probably, I'm sure you've heard me speak about him quite a lot. And that being said, he's the mentor who really expanded my vision for what I even thought was possible. And that is Chris Kinney. And I've shared this with him before, but this voice note is for you. Here's the thing. This voice is for Chris. You want to make sure that you have people that are expanding your vision, that are not just yes men or yes women, that are not just, that will, again, like I mentioned with Charyse, like that can see you, that will see you and speak to who you are, even if that's not who you're showing up as, because maybe you're afraid or whatever the case may be. But Charyse saw me, Chris saw me, right? And spoke to that. And again, when I say that he expanded my vision for what is possible, I was playing small. Many of you are right now are playing small, smaller than what you're playing. I was going to say smaller than what you should be. I don't really like to use the word should. You guys know that, but you're playing at the level of your nervous system, really. So going back to identity and nervous system and all that, you're playing at the level of your nervous system. You need people who can help expand that safely expand that for you. So again, Chris is someone who really expanded what I thought was even possible for myself. So this voice note is for Chris. So Chris, the skills that you taught me, that I've learned from working with you for 2 years and then some, completely shifted the trajectory of my business. When I say completely shifted, I mean completely shifted. The skills, the frameworks that I learned from you are completely integrated, into my business, holistic health coaching business, my business coaching business. And it's just part of, it's, I would say it's part of the infrastructure, no doubt. It's part of the foundation, for sure. You helped me see the value of the impact that I was making in this world. Because, and I remember you even asked me, you said, this was early on, you said, you don't understand the impact that you're making. Do you? You said, do you? Because if you did, you wouldn't be charging so little. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I kind of almost wanted to be offended, but I knew that there was truth in what you said. Because again, as nurses, we don't typically charge whatever, all the things around not charging as healthcare professionals and charging a little bit and maybe guilt around that, money, shame, money, guilt. You actually put voice to that. But money, shame, money, guilt, it was definitely something that I had that I really I was unaware of. There are lots of things that were kind of living in my subconscious that I was unaware of until you brought them to my attention. So I am so grateful to you for that, or for you to that, whatever. You helped me in that conversation. Literally, it was that conversation that I shifted my pricing. And I was at the time I was charging $1,200 for 3 months. And after that conversation, or during that conversation, I immediately really quantum leap up to $24,000 for 12 months. And that was my holistic health coaching program. That's still my holistic. It's actually a little bit more expensive now, but it's 12 months for $30K now, but but all this time, that's what it's been because of that conversation. So you helped me really step into what the impact that I was making in the world, and helping me to value that. You helped me learn. You taught me how to have a sales conversation in a way that felt real and connected and not salesy, if you will, but just to have a real conversation and to listen in between the lines, as I like to say. You helped me quote my fee unapologetically. You helped me raise my fee and then quote my fee unapologetically. And again, that has shifted and continues to shift the trajectory of my business. You also helped me pivot. And the pivot was when I was doing my master classes and I was launching into my holistic health coaching business. What happened was with this one particular line, there was nothing, I didn't do anything different with this. This is from my third or fourth big launch, right? I was launching every, 8 weeks or so. And into the same program, there was nothing different about it. But this particular time, the sales calls that were generated from the masterclass were all from healthcare providers. And they weren't interested in enrolling in my holistic health coaching program. They asked specifically, do you help people like me? Do you help some nurses and nurse practitioners, whatever? Do you coach? Do you offer business coaching so that way I can do what you're doing? I love what you're doing. Can you help me? And I mentioned that to Chris. Oh my God. And I said, I don't really offer that. And he said, maybe you should. And I'm so grateful for that. And then right then and there, we kind of mapped out what that would look like. And I'm so grateful for that. Because had it not been for Chris, I probably would have ruminated. I probably would have sat on that opportunity for a very long time, trying to get it, air quotes, perfect, trying to figure out, okay, what does that even look like? And I know I would not have pivoted and moved as quickly as I would have. But because Chris was like, maybe you should. What would that look like? And we literally just mapped it out right then and there. And that led to my that really was the genesis of my business coaching business. So thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris, because I know I would have overanalyzed and it was just would have been in my head for a long time. So thank you for expanding my vision for what I even thought was possible. Thank you for helping me pivot and creating a whole nother second arm of my business. So eternally grateful for sure. Okay. Next, a voice note is for my first business coaching client. So this is actually stems from what I just mentioned before, just now. And I don't know if she knew. So here's the thing. I got to give you a little bit of backstory. I've been, like I said, an entrepreneur for 20 years. I have been coaching. I've been doing business coaching really for the last 20 years. It was just in a different capacity. It was not in a holistic health setting. It had nothing to do with holistic health. It was a totally different industry altogether, but it was business coaching nonetheless. So I had the skill set. All of that was there. I just didn't have, again, it was just in a different industry, not in this particular industry. So this was, of course, after my, after my days as an ICU nurse. So my first business coaching client is actually, I don't know if she even knows this, it's Glennis. Hey, Glennis. Hey, it's Glennis, a nurse practitioner. So my voice note for Glennis is, you were the first to see the business coach in me in this capacity. I know that you knew me from a previous life or previous business or whatever, but you trusted me to guide you on this journey as you were birthing your functional medicine business. Before I had any testimonials, before I had a full offer suite, or before I had a really, super polished brand, any of that, you said yes. You didn't need a sales page. You felt the energy. You felt the connection. You saw what I was doing and you were in. You said yes. 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 And your yes gave me permission to really fully step into the business coaching space in this arena. When I say this arena, I mean, holistic health and functional medicine, working with, healthcare professionals in holistic health and functional medicine, bringing their vision to life in terms of their business. So you trusted me to hold your vision. And I appreciate that. And I don't take that lightly. Even when I was still somewhat shaping my own, but you were in and you were so excited and you've built something really amazing. And I'll never forget how that first breakthrough with you felt. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. And you weren't just a client. I really have to say this. You weren't just a client. Again, you also were a confirmation. So thank you for that. And your belief still echoes through my business, you guys. I'll share this. That's kind of the end of my voice note. But Glennis is so, number one, she's just magical, powerful, beautiful, healer, just all the things. And she has journeyed with me over these last, I'm going to say, that's probably 21, 22. This is 26. So over the last 4 years, I've had the blessing and the opportunity to work with Glennis several times. First, initially as a one-on-one coaching client. I think we did a VIP day, and then we had like a 12-month container together. And then she kind of went and implemented, and then there were some gaps. And she was like, oh no, I feel like I need some support here, here, here. So she came back as a client. She enrolled in Transcendence, which was a total game changer. You can ask her to this day, total game changer for her. And then she enrolled in the Prosperous Practitioner Program. And then, again, this wasn't a whole continuous 4 years or 5 years together. It's okay. I feel like I need this. Okay, let me go with Charyse. feel like I need this. Let me go with Charyse. And so I don't take that lightly. In fact, I hold that in such high regard. I appreciate you. I appreciate your trust. And I love working with Glennis. Oh my God, I love working with Glennis. And she's in the Quantum Leap Collective. So we have journeyed quite a bit together. And it's just been a blessing to really just see your business unfold and continue to unfold. You and your business, because and this is for everybody, your business can never outgrow who you are. So the fact that Glennis has invested time, energy, effort, yes, money, absolutely, but it's the other pieces. I always say the money part's easy. It's actually doing the work, right? And Glennis is just such a beautiful representation of that, of what's possible, and to witness her evolution. It's been great for me. It's been a blessing to be able to witness that. And anyway, so that's that. Okay. Next voice note is to my team, to the team members who have held me down over these, goodness, over all this time. For my podcast team, Kevin, Ran, and the extended team that's behind the scenes that I really don't have a whole lot of contact with because Kevin runs the show, and I'm so appreciative of that. To Cherry and Charmaine, my VAs. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is not a one-woman show. Your business is not a one-woman show. It might be initially, but the quicker you can bring on support so that way you stay in your zone of genius. There's a lot of moving pieces to running a business, to running a podcast, to, all the things. And initially you're doing all the things. You are everything in your business. But as soon as you can get some support, and again, keep you working in your zone of genius, right? So that the business doesn't fall apart, but you have other people, you have a supporting cast, if you will. The sooner you can get there, the better. And I would always just say, start with a VA. Like, start with someone who can take a lot of the tasks that need to be done off of your plate. They need to be done, but they don't necessarily need to be done by you, right? All right, so this voice note is for you guys. So you all have caught things that I've missed. You've seen things that I didn't even know to look for because that is your area of expertise. That's your zone of genius. You saw things that were needed before I even saw them. So thank you for that. You honored the vision. You held my vision, even when it got messy, because it's gotten messy sometimes. You believed in the mission like it was your own mission. Each and every one of you. Each and every one of you. And for that, I am truly grateful. Again, this business is not a one-woman show. There's no way in the world I would have been able to create this level of success without each and every one of you. And I am better. I am better because of you. You guys make me look really, 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 really good. And I thank you for that. So the team that keeps it all together. Thank you. All right. So this next one, this is for the one client. I'm going to say, how am I going to say this? Who triggered me. I'll say it like that. Of course, I won't mention any names, but everything's a mirror. That's one thing I want you to recognize, you guys. When things are showing up, good and bad, it's a mirror, particularly when it's bad. It's a mirror. It's a mirror. And it's an opportunity for you to look at, okay, what can I shift? What are they mirroring back to me? Because I guarantee you what you're seeing mirror back to you, there's something in you that needs to shift, right? So this particular client, you know what, I'm going to keep this one really, really short and sweet. But it made me, working with this particular client, and we actually ended our engagement early, which has not happened a whole lot. But I bring this up for a reason. There are going to be certain times where it seems like a fit. Well, there's going to be two scenarios where it feels like a good fit. Well, the good fits, those. But there are going to be some times where you're not quite sure if it's a good fit. There may have been some red flags, but for whatever reason, you're like, it'll be fine. And then you work with this particular client or clients for a length of time. You're like, man, this is not it. I want to just share with you, it's okay to end the engagement. It is okay. Okay. It's to end whatever the length of the engagement. It's okay. Right. This is your business. You get to decide. So there'll be times, like I said, there's red flags or somewhat of red flags, but you disregard them and you just move forward. And then again, later on, you're like, okay, yeah, I should have just followed my gut the first time. So this was one of those instances. But it taught me to be more on what it is that I wanted. Remember, I mentioned Miss Dorothy, like total dream client in terms of holistic health. This one was actually a business coaching client. It made me, help me be very clear on what it was that I am available for and not available for, who it is I really want to work with. And because, how they always say, there's a saying, all money ain't good money. Yeah, all money ain't good money. And it was torture. But again, here's the blessing in it. Every time I would see her name on my schedule, I would feel like this tightening. Not in a good way, not a good feeling. And I ignored it initially, but I'm like, why is it that usually when I see, I'm looking at my schedule for the day, I see my clients, I'm excited. I'm like, oh my God, okay. Whether holistic health clients or business coaching clients, I'm excited. But for this particular one, I would always tighten up and get kind of constricted. And I kind of just brushed it off. And then I was like, wait a minute, there's something here. Like, what is going on? And so it was a reminder to me to only say yes, make my yes a yes and my no a no, and to not ignore red flags. Our very first conversation was a red flag. There were lots of things that were like, okay, this will work, but there was too many red flags, and I don't know why I invited her, because remember, you get to invite people to work with you. Okay, I'm not even sure why I invited her to work with me when I knew there were red flags, and sure enough, those red flags kept showing up. And again, it was just a misalignment. It was just a misalignment, and but I'm grateful for it, because what it did was it made me, again, be clear on what it was, on who my ideal client was, my dream client, not my ideal client, but my dream client. Like, who am I really here to serve, right? It should be a win-win for both of you. They should be excited to get on with you. You should be excited to get on with them, right? Whether that's in person or online. And it helped me, it actually prompted me, or triggered me, if you will, or activated me is probably a better word, to actually reshape one of my programs, reshape how I work with people. Had it not been for that particular client, I would have probably continued on with the delivery model that I really was no longer aligned with. The delivery model worked for a while, how I worked with my clients, really, it worked until it didn't. I felt like I had to continue, for whatever reason, I felt like I had to continue the program as is. But again, her showing up in my experience was the trigger, really, that made me say, okay, I'm going to totally redesign this program. I'm going to totally redesign this offer. I'm going to totally redesign how I'm going to deliver it, because it no longer aligns with who I am. So yeah, so there's that. So thank you. Thank you, Miss No Name. But no, grateful though. Grateful. So grateful. Okay, next voice note to the person, for the version of me. It's to the version of me who kept going. And this will be a short and sweet one too, but the voice note is this. You cried between calls. You cried between a client sometimes. You launched when no one was watching. You kept going when no one was applauding or clapping, right? I'm so proud of you. That's what I really want to say. I'm so proud of you. There are so many times where you could have given up. There are so many times where you doubted yourself. There were many times, but I'm so proud of you for persevering. I'm so proud of you for, whenever you got knocked down, you just dusted yourself off and got back up and kept moving forward in your vision. I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of who you've become. And I'm proud to have seen and literally had a front row seat to the evolution, because who you are now you're nowhere. You're not who you were, at the start of this, even 100 episodes ago. You are different. You're different. I'll leave it at that. And I'm so proud of you. So that's that. Okay, last two, and then we will wrap it up. This is to you. This is to you, my podcast listeners. So grateful. Whether you have listened, whether this is your very, very first episode, or whether you've listened since episode number 1, I want you to know that this space was built for you. This space was built for you. You're the reason why I show up every week. Literally, you're the reason why I show up every week. You're the reason why I stretch myself, why I continue to evolve and speak sometimes even when it's uncomfortable. You could have chosen anyone's voice to be in your ears. You could have. And yet you chose mine, and you continue to choose mine over and over again. And I don't take that lightly. I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for every share. Every time you listen to an episode and you share it. I'm so grateful every time you listen to an episode and you watch it again, because you're like, oh, there was something, I want to hear that again. I'm so grateful for you leaving comments and reviews, like reviewing the podcast. I'm so grateful, because that expands, that allows my voice to reach more people. So thank you for that. I pray that you feel poured into week after week. I pray that this space reminds you of what's possible for you when you lead with heart and with purpose. So thank you. Thank you, thank you. And I hope you know that you're not just a listener, you're part of the legacy. You're part of the legacy. So thank you for that. All right, last two. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a couple more. To God, and then we'll wrap. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick one to God, quick one to my bestie, and a quick one to my husband. Okay, to God, thank you. You knew all along. You knew all along. You gave me this vision. You put this mission in my heart. When I didn't believe, you reminded me gently, kind of tapped me on my shoulder. When I wanted to quit, even to quit doing the podcast, there were times where I was even wondering, like, does anyone even listen? You reminded me what I was called to. You gave me divine assignments, disguised as breakdowns, breakthroughs, all the things. And there were blessings in each and every, in all of it. Blessings I didn't even see coming. So thank you. Thank you for giving me the strength to hold on to to hold all that I asked for. I've asked for a lot. Thank you for giving me the strength. Thank you for trusting me with your people. This business is yours. This business is yours. And thank you. I'll keep stewarding it with reverence. So thank you. To my bestie, always, everybody has to have a bestie, whether it's I used to always call her my business bestie. I just call her my bestie now. I mean, she's my business bestie, but she's my bestie. So, for always holding the vision for me. When I tell you, okay, this is supposed to be to her. I'm like speaking to you guys listening, but the voice note is supposed to be for her, to her. Thank you for always holding my vision, for holding the vision for me, for being my hype woman, I should say. You helped me decide on the intro music for this podcast, the intro and the outro music for this podcast. And you didn't say, okay, I do this one. You just said, you noticed and you voiced. You said, oh, by the way, that's Laura D. Dias. I didn't mention her name, but that's Laura D. Dias. We were at a hotel in Florida at an event. It was actually at a Tracy Lynn event. And so we were there and I was listening to the music and you said, I was like, I don't know if I should go with this one or if I should go with this one. And you said, Laura, your whole energy lights up. You get giggly, you get bubbly when you hear that one music. You said, go with that. And I don't even know if you heard the music. I probably played it for you. But anyway, you remind me that, and you always remind me that I don't have to have it all together, but particularly with this podcast, because I was second guessing, I was pushing it back, pushing back the launch of it. But you reminded me, you don't have to have it all figured out, girl. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to start. You just start and then refine it from there. So thank you for that. Thank you for repeating back some of my words to me that I always say. And then when you say it back, you're like, well, one of my friends says, and then you'll kind of say what I normally say. And I'm like, damn, that's a good one. Your friend is wise. And then you'll say, Charyse, you say that. That's what you say. I'm like, well, damn, I'm good. Anyway, thank you for celebrating every milestone. When I say every milestone, I mean every milestone. Thank you for celebrating every milestone as if it was yours. Thank you for keeping me grounded. Thank you for reminding me who the F I am, because sometimes I even forget. Thank you for having such an impeccable memory. I share so much with you, and it's so amazing when we have conversations and I'm like, I might be at a loss for something. Like I might be trying to think of an idea and you'll say, hey, remember when you had that conversation with Cassie? Or remember when you were working with blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, how do you remember that? But it's always just at the right time. It's just what I need. You have the most impeccable memory, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that because you remind me of experiences that I may have forgotten about that were impactful, learnings, nuggets, conversations, and it's always at the right time. So thank you. You're not just my BFF. You are my vault person, and you know that. So thank you. My husband, my Mr. Dependable, my forever friend, forever, ever, ever. You have held down the house, literally and figuratively, held down the house while it's being built. And when I mean that, I mean this business, the house being, this business. You have been there in this podcast. You've cheered me on. While working late. You've given me so much grace. You've watched my disappointments. You sense when I'm in a funk, if you will. You call it out with love. You help me recalibrate. You always have. You've seen every single version of me that this podcast has birthed, that this business has birthed, and you have loved them all. Thank you. You've been my anchor for sure, for real, always. You've been my anchor, really behind every single episode and really behind every single thing that I do. Every launch, every leap, every shift, every pivot, everything. Because you are my everything. I know I'm trying not to be too sappy, but really you are my everything. So this podcast might have my name on it, but your support is all over it and all through it. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And that, my friends, is episode 100. Thank you for, again, being with me along this journey. Thank you for listening to these voice notes. I hope that they have served you in some way, shape, or form, giving you hope, giving you inspiration, giving you just little nuggets that you can kind of put in your back pocket. I will see you next week for another episode of the Charyse Williams Show. And as always, I love you. I appreciate you. And I will see you next time. Bye for now.